You won't believe this. The man you see right here was one of the most admired people in Kenya's film industry. His name is Charles Matathia. He was one of the writers of Kenya's biggest movie, Nairobi HalfLife. But here he was spotted begging on the streets. How does a brilliant writer end up like this? Sadly, his story is not new. Many Kenyan actors have gone through the same pain. Some have cried on television and online, others have begged their fans for help, asking for money to buy food, pay hospital bills, or even build a simple home. And these are not unknown actors. They are some of Kenya's biggest names. Ojwang, Onyi, Omosh, Miss Morgan, Mr. Meposi, OJ, Dedan Juma, Ras, the list is long.
You mean kuna vile unaweza kwa TV na hakuna pesa?
Una do na lakini wewe you're so popular to everyone but you have no money. You don't know wasanii wengi wanaenda kuwa depressed.
To understand this topic better, we have to look back at the history of Kenyan television. Now, in the 1960s to the 1990s, Kenyan TV was filled with foreign shows, Mexican soap operas, American comedies, and imported dramas ruled the screens. People loved them, especially the soap operas. At that time, there was only one channel, KBC. Viewers had no choice but to watch what KBC was offering. Local shows were very few because making them was too expensive. Still, some Kenyan shows managed to shine. Vioja Mahakamani was a hit with stars like Ondeke Nyukakwota and Gibson Mbogwa or The Prosecutor. Vitimbi also became a household favorite, with legends like Mzee Ojwang, Mogaka, Alexander, and Mama Kayai. Then came the 1990s. New stations were born like NTV and KTN. When KTN launched in 1990, it ended KBC's monopoly and brought fresh energy to Kenyan television.
The focus of international interest turns to South Africa in the coming week. The African National Congress is scheduled to hold its first official meeting with the Praetorian government.
At first, KTN mostly showed foreign content like CNN and MTV Europe, but slowly, Kenyan programs started to appear. But still, foreign shows remained dominant because they were cheaper. Producing a single local episode was very costly. You had to pay actors, writers, producers, and rent expensive equipment. Most TV stations saw it as a waste of money, since they believed that Kenyans preferred foreign shows. Buying ready-made programs from abroad was much cheaper. Things started to change in the 2000s. Now, in 2003, then Minister for Information, Raphael Tuju, directed that at least 20 to 30% of TV content must be Kenyan. At first, stations ignored that order. They insisted that foreign shows were cheaper and more loved by the viewers, but they were wrong. Around 2005 and 2006, Kenyan television entered its golden age. This was the peak of local shows. Programs like Papa Shirandula and Taidi High became instant hits. For the first time, Kenyans saw themselves and their daily lives reflected on the screen. The stories were real, the language was familiar, and the audience felt connected. By 2008, local shows ruled the evenings. From 7:35 p.m., families would gather around the television to watch Taidi High, Mother-in-Law, Vitimbi, Cobra Squad, Beba Beba, Wingu la Moto, Wash and Set, Inspector Mwala, Makutano Junction, Machachari, and the list is long. Maybe you can tell me in the comments which shows you are watching back then. Now, in 2018, a Kenya Film Classification Board survey confirmed what many already knew. Kenyans loved their own stories. Just imagine, 64% of viewers preferred local shows over foreign ones. That's more than half the country choosing Kenyan dramas and comedies instead of imported content. And when people watch more local shows, you know what that means. The stations or the creators make more money. Take Cobra Squad for example. Its creator, Alfred Mutua, revealed that he made 36 million shillings from that show, and it aired many years ago. And with that money, he was even able to buy several apartments in Nairobi. Just recently, Miss Morgan revealed that Taidi High was making about 8 million shillings every single week. That's a huge amount of money.
If only Taidi High, and God forgive me, if Taidi High was not bringing 8 million a week for Royal Media, let them come and ask me a question.
But here's the painful truth. While producers and TV stations walk away with millions, the actors don't. The same faces we see on television every evening often go home with empty pockets. Fame in Kenya doesn't always mean fortune. Being on television doesn't guarantee food on the table. many actors are suffering or have suffered in the past. Some stay quiet out of fear, others have spoken out like Miss Morgan, the tough teacher from Tidy High. Now, Miss Morgan shocked Kenyans when he spoke out about her struggles. After the show, she fell into alcoholism and even had suicidal thoughts. The pressure of fame was too heavy and the money was too little. She said that Tidy High was making 8 million every week, but actors got only a small share.
8 million
Per week.
per week. That is one episode.
Yeah.
And you're being paid 25K.
Per episode. The production maximum. Maximum.
Okay. So,
Why do you think artists are frustrated?
is that one of the reasons why you got into depression?
It is. It is definitely.
Is it about the fame or the money?
I said the both. They go hand in hand.
Teacher Kilunda had a different path. After Tidy High, he moved to Kangundo in Machakos and began farming. Opened a salon, a barber shop, and even an Mpesa shop.
I have everything I need here.
Na kazi, maybe sasa kurudia acting. You know, you're still a very young person.
I'm not young, I'm 44. Actually 43 going 44.
His story shows one thing: acting alone cannot pay the bills.
Acting does not pay anymore. If I'm asking for 100,000, if you can't give me that money, I won't act. Exactly, yeah. Request me to come in the morning very early. Need to come easy. I will not come to act for 10,000.
But the saddest case was Omosh. His story became national news. In interviews, he cried, saying that he couldn't pay rent of over 100,000 Kenyan shillings.
Neighbors and friends don't make. I have nothing to do.
He couldn't even feed his children. At one point, he even thought about suicide. He begged for any job, saying that he was ready to work even for 200 shillings a day.
Ushaikaza peke yako kwa barabara unatembea unalia. That's what I do. Natoka kwa nyumba nang'ara na kuna malenda. Natembea tu kwa barabara nikilia. Unaangalia ni house rent. An year sijawahi lipa. Unaangalia ni food watoi wanadai. Sina anything ya kupatia. Sina job ati naenda mahali nikakaso. Nikaleta watoi food. Yaani bibi yuko tu ni napata watu kama wewe napata best. Tu andiokolea. Yaani friends wameniweka for 1 year.
Now, the same happened to Ras from Mother-in-Law, this guy. He said that he left the show Mother-in-Law not because he was fired, but because acting was not helping him grow.
Na hiyo time when I left mother-in-law, si ati nilichujwa kazi. Ni mimi niliamua kutoka. Niliamua ku step back na niangalie where I'm going, where I'm coming from. Nionekane za jipanga vingine. Because you can stay somewhere for a long time na uoni changes. The changes zenye unaona ni kugo back. Yani una backslide badala uendelee.
After quitting, he was then working in a car wash, just imagine, and tried small businesses to survive.
So when I left, I tried something else. Because I entered into business. At the same time, nimekuwa involved with something I do and I love doing. Environment.
And Ras is one of those actors who has many times spoken about the suffering of actors and how the industry keeps ignoring and undermining the actors.
Why should a news anchor be paid so much money na actor lipidopo? News anchor uletanga nini? Hakuna. Yeye usoma tu kitu ameandikiwa ile vitu vimeokota huko news zote asome hapa alipo 600,000. Mimi naenda pale mtu anakimbia anafunga kazi anakimbia kwa nyumba kuona hiyo program yangu, furahi sana. Au actor tunampenda sana lakini analipa 30K.
Now, do you remember Charity Mwamba, the grandmother from Mother-in-Law? She also spoke out. She revealed that she acted in the show for 13 years without a contract. Just imagine. It's unbelievable. And because of that, her salary kept changing and she couldn't complain because nothing was written down. She said actors in Kenya are simply used, and it's because of the same reason most of them don't have a contract. Even the younger stars are struggling. In March 2025, Dedan Juma came out asking Kenyans for help. Now, Juma is well known for his tough gangster roles, which he plays so well. He has acted in many shows, Nairobi HalfLife, The Real Housewives of Kawangware, Pepeta, and even in a Netflix show called Cash Money. Now, you'd think that after featuring in all these big shows, he would be rich, but he's not. This year, he posted on social media saying that he couldn't even afford food for his family, and he was asking Kenyans to help him. And the fans were shocked. How could someone who starred in such big shows beg for food? It does not make sense. But many defended Juma, saying that the industry has failed its actors. And it's true. Juma himself revealed that even top actors in The Real Housewives of Kawangware were paid only, just listen, 28,000 shillings a month. That's low. It's peanuts.
Kulipa walikuwa nalipa ukienda ilikuwa more than 3 scenes for 7k. Chini ya 3 scenes ilikuwa ni 4k.
So you need per month
per episode.
Per episode.
Chill. Like hiyo ni inclusive na like fair
kila kitu.
Na sasa kwa mwezi ukiweza tokea kwa zote hiyo
of course kwa mwezi wana air 4 episodes. So the maximum unaweza get ni 28,000.
So tuseme ule mse hai sasa tuseme kama
Jugush. Huyo mtu ulikuwa mnaona daily. Kila mwezi ni 28k.
Like kila mtu alikuwa analipwa the same, hakuna ati jueni star sasa unalipwa sijui aje.
Anyway, even the old actors or the pioneers have suffered. The most painful story is Mzee Ojwang. For years, he made Kenyans laugh in Vitimbi, but in his final days, he couldn't even pay for treatment for his eyes and other sicknesses. Mzee Ojwang died poor, and this shocked the country. Some people even compared Mzee Ojwang to global comedy stars like Charlie Chaplin, who died a millionaire. But here was the legendary Ojwang begging for help. It's sad.
Huyu mzee matatizo yake imeanza kwa sababu ya depression.
Kwanza tulitolewa KBC na njia mbaya sana, tukafukuzwa. Sasa sijui ni kwa sababu ya akili hiyo na stress ndio ikaanza polepole.
Hakuna hata ndururu moja, hakuna hata notice, wacha sasa maneno mengine yote. Hakuna hata notice ya kuambua mwezi fulani hamtakuwa job. Sisi tuliamkiwa tu siku moja tukaambua nendeni.
40 years. Na hakuna kitu tulipatiwa, not even a coin.
And this is the sad truth of acting in Kenya. You give your talent, your time, even your youth, you become famous. But when the cameras stop, there's no pension, no royalties, no insurance. No one cares about you. Even your wife might disappear. That's exactly what happened to Mr. Meposi from Tidy High. After the show ended, his wife left him. He turned to alcohol because he felt guilty for not providing for his family.
Mimi nimelala streets.
Wow.
I've been in the streets of Nairobi.
You mwalimu?
Nilikuwa naitwa Chokora Msafi.
Are you serious?
Yes. Nalala kwa, unajua mimi nilikuwa najulikana sana, kwa hivyo ningeingia kwenye bar, night club yoyote, singefukuzwa. Hata nanunuliwa pombe.
In 2022, he said that he moved to Karatina in Nyeri to start chili farming. Even asked Kenyans for help so that he could expand the farm. At the same time, he was battling diabetes and depression. And this problem doesn't just affect actors. Do you remember Nairobi HalfLife, the movie? Many call it the best Kenyan film ever. And it is. And just so you know, it was Kenya's first film submitted for the Best Foreign Language Film category at the 85th Academy Awards of the Oscars, but it didn't get a nomination or make the final shortlist. Still, that movie put Kenya on the global stage. But here's the sad part. The man who was part of writing the script, Charles Matathia, was later spotted begging in the streets of Nairobi. The same man who gave us a film that shook the world was now living in poverty. The irony is that his life ended up looking like exactly the struggles shown in the movie. This was shocking. People wondered how a writer of such a big film could fall so low. The Kenya Film and Classification Board even released a statement promising to do more to protect talent. But the truth is, Matathia's case shows the bigger problems in the industry. It's very easy to blame actors for wasting their money, but that's not the full story. The real problem is the system. Acting in Kenya is unstable. Roles are short-term. Actors are usually paid only once. Once a character's story ends, the money stops.
Let me tell you something about us actors.
Yeah.
By the moment project yangu inatokea, inapatanga hiyo do nilisha. Most of the time. Like 90% tunapatanga by the time project inatokea. because they take pre-production takes a while. Kuna zenye zi take a year something. So unapata ulinilipa mwaka, I mean natumia pesa, you have to leave.
Yeah, of course.
So it's not sustainable at all.
Most actors are paid per episode. There's no pension, no health insurance, no job security. The show ends, so does the paycheck.
There's something we say about acting. You're always employed, you're always unemployed. Because you get employed per job.
Yeah.
It's not like now we're giving you a 5-year contract, you'll be coming here every Role yako ikiisha, that's it.
And let's talk about the royalties. There's no repeat payments when the show is aired again or streamed online. Even if a series runs for years or is sold internationally, the actors don't see a single extra shilling. Meanwhile, the producers keep cashing in. And Ras said it, that acting alone cannot sustain an actor. In fact, some actors are being paid less now than they were years ago.
Ile usani nilikuwa nalipo 70,000 nimeanza kulipo 20. When you have 2 kids and they're in school already. Utafanya nini? Utachizi.
And things are worse when it comes to contracts. Many actors said they don't get to negotiate their pay. By the time you're offered a role, the terms are already fixed. If you refuse, you're simply replaced. Sometimes payments are delayed for months or never come at all. Some actors finish a job only to be told the rest will come later, but it never does. And this makes it hard for them to pay bills or invest in their careers. That's why we see that many actors are falling into depression from the stress. And why does this happen? Why are actors underpaid or taken for granted? One reason is that Kenya doesn't have strong unions to protect artists. Yes, there are unions, but they are weak. Veteran actor Mzee Kobe from Machachari once said that actors are paid peanuts. Some act only because they love it. And, without proper laws and policies, actors have no power.
I told you I was acting for free at Kenya National Theatre. The only thing I would be bought was probably some snacks.
Art is big, but it requires the law to govern it. Without these laws, actors are left at the mercy of producers. If you ask for fair pay, you're called rebellious and risk being blacklisted. That's what happened to Dedan Juma. After acting in Pepeta, his salary was delayed for 6 months, just imagine. He kept pushing to be paid. Instead, he was threatened and blacklisted. For 2 years, he couldn't get another role.
Salary ya mwisho ya Pepeta walichelewesha na miezi kama 6. Wewe niambie miezi 6 utaka ukifanya nini? Hata kama nakulipa 500,000 per month, nimekalisha miezi 6 sijakupea hata bob, hafania, sijakupea hata kuna nyumba, kuna nini una survive. Uwezi like itakuwa noma. Niambie wewe ukiendelea kucheido, hakuna job nyingine utaandikwa. Just it has been 2 years. Sijaona job yoyote. Mabeshto wangu wako wera.
And that's the scary reality. If you speak up, you're fired, you're replaced overnight, and it's not just the big actors. It happens to young actors too. They're scared to lose that one role feeding their families, so they stay silent. They suffer quietly, earning peanuts while producers and TV stations make millions. Now listen, a survey done in 2022 showed budgets for films have gone up, but the payment for the actors stay the same. The money flows, but it never reaches the people on the screen. And the society makes it even harder. In Kenya, many people still see acting as a hobby, not a real job. And the producers use this mindset to pay actors low wages, while telling them they should be grateful for the exposure. You're acting not to be paid, but for the exposure. It's sad.
Watu wanafikiri ati you just wake up in the morning na unaenda unafanya one time. There's a certain producer who told the same thing. Kazi yenye mnalipwa 20,000.
Kufanya tu kitu hakuna.
Hivi.
Fans also assume that being on television means being rich. So when actors admit that they are broke, people don't believe them and they mock them. Many production houses in Kenya only care about profit first. They pay actors as little as possible, while they walk away with millions. One of the biggest problems in the industry is pure greed. Actors are mishandled, underpaid, and in some cases, even dropped off their ideas. And this is how it works. If you want your show to get on television, you must pitch a pilot, a sample idea. But instead of getting hired, some producers simply steal your idea and use it themselves. And you, as the writer or creator, you are left with nothing.
na wengine unajipata umeandika very nice show, umeapproach a TV station, umeambiwa yeah, this is a nice one, wacha tuta think about it. In a month's time unaona the same idea kwa TV imegeuzwa tu title.
Now, let's see how things work in other African countries. In places like South Africa or let's say Nigeria, the situation is very different. In South Africa, actors are protected by strong unions. They fight for fair pay, health insurance and pensions. Even extras get paid better than top Kenyan actors. A big actor in Kenya might earn around 40,000 Kenyan shillings per episode, while an extra in South Africa can make about 100,000 shillings per episode. That's more than double for someone with no lines. And this is why, because South Africa has structure, laws and royalties that make sure actors live decently.
South Africa, can I an extra in South Africa in Kenyan money gets over 100,000 shillings.
Are you sued
per episode?
So sisi tunalipwa kama ma extras.
So sisi tunalipwa less than extras. So sisi hatuna term yoyote in South Africa.
Are you serious?
Hatuna.
In Nigeria, Nollywood has grown into one of the biggest film industries in the world. And actors there may face some challenges, but at least the system in Nigeria is thriving. They get more chances, more money and more respect. Nigeria and South Africa understand something Kenya has ignored. Art is not culture, it's business. It's an industry that can create jobs, money and pride for the nation. But not all stories from Kenya end in tragedy. Some actors refused to sit and wait for change. They decided to build their own paths. The best examples we have is Njugush and Abel Mutua. Both starred in traditional television, but when they saw the industry was failing them, they moved online. Njugush began with short skits on Facebook and YouTube with his wife, Celestine. Slowly, his audience grew. Today, they run one of the biggest comedy empires in Kenya, making money directly from fans through shows, tours, and online content. Njugush is thriving. He sells out live shows, lands big corporate deals, and proves that actors don't really need television to prosper. Abel Mutua did something similar. Instead of begging for acting roles, he moved behind the camera, became a writer and producer, and is now one of the most loved Kenyan YouTubers. Through his channel and his company, Abel built a career where he doesn't depend on television. He even started a new model, selling his films directly to the fans through video on demand. This way, he owns his work, controls his income, and doesn't have to chase royalties. And together, these two prove that actors don't have to be chained to the broken TV system. But here's the problem. Not everyone can be a Njugush or Abel. Not everyone has the tools, the courage, or the platform to start over. Most actors can't just wake up and build a digital empire. That's why the system itself needs to change, so that all the actors, not just a lucky few, can survive. And more importantly, so the next generation of actors won't face the same fate. And how can this happen? There are some solutions. And first, Kenya needs a strong actors union, a body that can fight for fair contracts, health insurance, and job security. Without it, actors will always be at the mercy of TV stations. This isn't just about money, it's about dignity and the rights. Second, royalties. If TV stations keep re-airing shows like, let's say, Papa Shirandula, Taidi Hayo Machachari, and making money, then the actors who brought those shows to life deserve a cut. Musicians get paid when their songs play on radio. Why not actors too? Third, government policy. Nigeria built Nollywood into a billion-dollar industry. South Africa invested in its film sector. Kenya has the talent for sure, but without strong laws to protect creatives and support the arts, the industry will stay stuck. And finally, financial literacy. Even with better pay, actors must learn how to save, invest, and plan ahead, because fame does not last forever, and an actor's career is short, and new talents appear every single day. To be safe, you must save and invest for the days ahead. Finally, let me finish by saying that Kenya doesn't lack talent. Kenya doesn't lack creativity. What Kenya lacks is structure, a system that respects the very people who give us laughter, drama, and joy. And let's be clear, kindly, entertainment is not a hobby. It's serious business. I repeat, it's serious business. Start respecting and supporting actors and entertainers. You can even start by supporting my content by subscribing and even sending something. Anyway, if you've watched up to this point, Thank you for watching. Please like this video and tell me what you think in the comment section. And with that, let's meet in the next video.